LEGO have just released a new Creative 3-in-1 medieval castle. And if you're anything like me, your first reaction to that might have been, didn't we already have one of these? This is set 31168, the new medieval Horse Knight castle. It came out in August 2025, costs around £100 and does look pretty familiar. But how does it actually compare against this old fan favourite, set number 31120, the medieval castle from 2021. As you can see, I've got them both built here side by side in front of me. And in this video, we're going to be putting the two of them head to head and deciding which one is better. And by better, I mean better in terms of the build, the minifigures, the parts used, alternate builds, and value for money. So let's get stuck in. And yeah, we are absolutely going to be talking about these brick-built horses. But before we do, if you like this kind of video, please make sure to leave a nice thumbs up on it down below to let me know you want to see more stuff just like this. And if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe for daily LEGO content, including something pretty spectacular coming up this weekend. More details on that a little later in the video. And while you're doing all your admin, why not let me know down in the comments which one of these two sets you think looks the best. And let's start with the build, because I built both of these sets this week and there is a definite difference between the two. So starting off with 31120, this is the older castle. It comes in at 1,426 pieces and it builds up into a proper traditional keep. It's got the classic grey and yellow colour scheme, loads of walls and towers, this awesome big drawbridge on the front, which is controllable at the side there. And there's a little quick release around the back, which I can't reach from the front. There you go, the little quick release is in there. I said quick release. It just allows you to turn it back again. It's a little lock. Let's pull the little lock back down. We've also got this little market setup on one side and then a little blacksmith area on this side, complete with hammer that goes up and down when you turn the wheel on the front. There you go. The big water wheel is turning and you can see in there the little hammer is bobbing up and down and blacksmithing for us. The set is a pretty solid 3-hour build and it does feel like a proper chunk of castle when it's all done. And it does also come with this very snazzy brick-built dragon too. The newer one, 31168, does have slightly fewer pieces at 1,371, and it does feel a little bit more compact, certainly lower down in this front section, although I guess a little bit higher at the back there. It is still a very fun build though, and it's split into sections that hinge and fold together in the same way as the previous one. If we get the horse knights out the way, you can see that just like with the previous one, you can break it open and kind of rearrange it into whatever shape you want to rearrange it into. We've got, once again, the drawbridge situation on the front with the same quick release mechanism that was on the older one. And then a much plainer interior, no market or blacksmith or anything in there. But we do have more of a tower, complete with throne room, bedroom, and little, I guess, tavern / kitchen area in the back. And of course, you get the two fully brick-built horses, which are an entire build step on their own. This one probably is a slightly quicker build overall, maybe 90 minutes to 2 hours. And I think it does have more of a playset feel when you compare it side by side with the older one. Now onto the minifigures, and this is where the new set completely smashes the old one out of the park. The 2021 Castle 31120 came with these 3 minifigures. We get a blacksmith and 2 guards, plus a skeleton who's in prison at the bottom there, and this little dragon build, which is fine, but certainly not the greatest dragon you would ever see. In contrast to that, the new set 31168 gives you these 6 minifigures. So we get a king, a champion knight, 2 soldiers, an archer, and a blacksmith, which is double the figures you get in the older set. Plus you get the 2 buildable horses as well. And all of them have really nice printing on them and actually represent different and, importantly, brand new for this set, factions. We've got this Yellow Shield Serpent Knight guy who is on his own. I don't know if you can necessarily consider him part of a faction just yet until he gets some buddies, but we do have the Blue Shields on the Horse Knights, and of course we have 4 of those, including their king, and a horse for them, so I think it's fair to say the Horse Knights are here, boys and girls. So if you're building out a medieval display or maybe building up an army, the new set, hands down, much better for minifigures. And then play features wise, both sets do give you some solid options. The older set has the working drawbridge that we mentioned before, plus the jail cell, a little target for your catapult practice, and this working turning wheel that does cause the forge to do its thing. Is that called a forge? The bit in the blacksmith all operates via that wheel. The newer set also has a drawbridge, but with no handle on the side. But the quick release does actually quick release on that one. So I don't know if that's a plus or a minus. The mechanism definitely seems a little bit better on the older one. But we do have this little saloon door for the horses to go through, this big buildable front door as well to make it through into the tavern area, plus more detail on the interior rooms, including the little kitchen and the throne room. Plus this one does open up to a larger area, so it might be a little bit easier to incorporate into a larger design, and certainly has a bigger footprint, albeit a little bit lower in terms of how imposing it is height-wise than this one. Being Creative 3-in-1 sets, both of them do give you alternate builds as well, neither of which I've actually built, but they do look pretty decent. On 3-1-1-2-0, of course, you get this bigger castle initially, certainly higher up, more castle-like. I do like the look of this castle more than the other one. And then for your alternate builds, you get this like tower thing. A watchtower, would you call that? Or this cool little gatehouse area that has a windmill, and I do like a windmill. And then we've got 3-1-1-6-8, which of course gives you that main castle build, but also has a windmill option in this one that basically opens up into a little marketplace area, or I think this one's really cool, a little jousting tournament setup, which I do like quite a lot, especially because it comes with the horses. And then in terms of rebrickable potential, I do think both are great, but this older set probably does have the edge, not least of which because it's been out a few years and there are already loads of examples of fantastic uses of this set on Rebrickable, both in terms of combining multiple of these together or combining it with things like the Lion Knight's Castle. There's so much that already exists for this one. I think everyone who gets one of these wants 3 or 4 of them so they can do really cool things with it. That being said, I'm sure the new one will catch up eventually, at least a bit. But it is a little bit early to predict how well the community is going to support it, especially because it does have that smaller variety of bricks than we saw on this one. There's no masonry bricks at all in the Horse Knight Castle, and there's also very little colour variety in this one compared to this one. You've basically just got a load of light bluish grey, whereas this includes the dark bluish grey, the yellow, the brown. You've got much more contrast. So for combining 2, 3, 4 of these together, it's going to be much harder to do anything other than just a big grey thing. Whereas this, as we've seen through years of really cool rebrickables, has kind of infinite potential for doing really cool medieval things. That being said, this would make an incredible parts pack for Lego City walls, and I might pick up a few of them for myself just to get a whole load of grey brick in one place and then use all of the minifigures to go into my existing medieval areas, which will be expanded with stuff built with this one in due course. I do think, though, that in time the new one will end up accumulating just as many mocks and rebrickables as the previous one did. It's hard to resist when it comes to castle stuff. And I think a lot of it will still be pretty easily repurposed into medieval builds. And on the topic of the horses, when the set was first announced, I did think they were rubbish, and I was a little bit miffed that there was a cheaper unicorn castle coming out on the same day with moulded unicorns, whereas us grown-ups had to build our own horses to go with this set. But having now built them, I do actually think they're quite cool, and I can see myself building a few more of them and adding them into Castle Hill around our Lion Knight's Castle in the Lego City, possibly even replacing the moulded horse we've already got in there. Let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments. But I don't hate the horses as much as I thought I would, and I think that is an important thing to note. So how do the two sets compare on price? At launch, this one, 31120, was £89.99 in the UK. It did often drop lower than that. I think I picked it up for about £75 around this time last year. But it is worth noting, since it retired at the end of last year, its price has shot up, and it's now not unusual to see it for £125 plus at LEGO conventions, which does put its current price at higher than this one. With 31168 still being so new, it hasn't started to see much in the way of discounts, if any discounts yet, so it is still retailing for £109.99. Obviously, I'm sure there will be opportunities to get it for less than £100 as time goes on. But just on the face of it, that is a pretty hefty £20 bump from this set to this set over a 4-year period, especially when you consider that this one has about 100 fewer pieces than this one. But you are getting twice the amount of minifigs, you're getting the buildable horses, and I would argue potentially better play features on this one straight out of the box. So there is a little bit in there in the way of justification for the price increase. But I think for me, I still probably do lean more towards the older one. It's got more pieces, and that is important. And I think they're better pieces on average too. And I think it does stand up better as a display piece in its own right, even ignoring the rebrickables. I think just at first glance, this one looks better than this one. But ultimately, it does kind of come down to whatever you value more. If you're looking for minifigures and play features, I think the new one is absolutely for you. Whereas if you're looking more for value for money and displayability, I would maybe try and pick up a retired version of the older one. So with all that being said, which one actually is better? Like I say, I think it does just depend on what you're after. For display and for integrating into maybe a larger castle or medieval setup, you're going to be hard-pressed to find a better option than this one anywhere. And I think it is a better core model. It's chunkier, more traditional looking. It's got those little yellow elements in there. And I think it does look more complete than this one does. But it is hard to look past the increased amount of minifigures, the horses, which I do think are cool, and that extra playability. And I think if you are buying a set for a kid, or maybe if you're a newer Lego collector, I think you'd probably find there's more for you in this one than this one, which feels just a little bit nerdier and more specialist. Personally, I'm keeping both of them, and you can get the two of them combined for half the price of a Lion Knight's castle, so there's value to be had all round, but they probably in time will both just get mashed down into their parts and used to piece together a much larger castle display with the aforementioned Lion Knight's castle and some of the Bricklink Designer Programme stuff on top of my castle hill in my city. And you might see little elements of little parts of them here and there, but I don't think either of them are going to stay complete as sets like this for very long in my world. And if I see a good deal, I'll definitely be looking to pick up extras of both of them. So they're both pretty good sets as far as I'm concerned. But let me know down in the comments which one you prefer and why. And if you have already mashed them both together into one big mega castle, please get those pictures posted on the Discord. I need to see that because I think it would be very, very cool. And if you have found this little comparison helpful, then I'd really appreciate you leaving a thumbs up on the video. This is a slightly different kind of video to the sort of thing we normally do. If you want to see more stuff like this, support it. Leave a thumbs up. It lets me know you want to see stuff like this on the channel. And of course, if you are new, subscribe, turn your notifications on. We do daily Lego content. And as mentioned earlier in the video, we have got something pretty special when it comes to content over the next few days. And it is castle related. It's all connected. Because we are part of Stand Up Builders, a collaborative stream team looking to raise $100,000 for Stand Up to Cancer over the next week or so. And as part of that, this weekend, I'm going to be streaming me building Lego for 24 hours. It'll be live over the course of the weekend, both here and over on my Twitch page. And amongst some of the sets that we're going to be building are some of those recent Bricklink Designer Programme castle sets. We're basically going to be spending 24 hours clearing the backlog of some of the bigger and cooler sets we've bought and just haven't got round to building yet. It's all kicking off at 6 p.m. UK time tomorrow. That's Friday, the 8th of August. And we'll be continuing throughout the weekend. I said 24 hours. I didn't say 24 consecutive hours. I'm 43 years old. I can't sit in this chair for 24 consecutive hours, but there will be streams throughout the weekend, and hopefully you'll be able to come along and join us for those. And ultimately, the more money we raise for charity, the longer I'll stream for and the more cool Lego sets we'll build. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be cool, something a little bit different, and hopefully something we can all get behind and raise some money for a really good cause. If you want to get a head start on the donations, I've left the donation link down in the description below as well, so you can jump on that if you so choose. And if not, just join me and help keep me awake for 24 hours of sitting in this room over the next couple of days. I'm going to have lots of fun. It's 24 hours where I can just play with my toys. I never get that opportunity, and I can't wait. So for now, thank you for watching, and I'll hopefully see you tomorrow for building more castles.